Hey, I'm Cameron McKenzie, the editor-in-chief over at theserverside.com, and I wanted to talk to you about iterators. Specifically, I wanted to compare and contrast fail-safe versus fail-fast iterators in Java. Starting off, I've got the structure of a Java class. I've got the main method, and I've also got the fail-safe iterator method, and I've also got the fail-fast iterator method, which I will use to compare and contrast the two types of iterators. I'm going to start off in the fail-fast iterator method and show you an example of failing fast, and specifically the exception that gets thrown when you try and edit a collection inside of an iteration over the loop. So to start off, I'm going to create a new array list that holds string objects. I'll call it servers. It'll be an array list that takes strings. And after that array list is created, you got to spell it properly. I don't know, just add my favorite server, Tomcat. Although Jetty actually comes with a close second there. So now I've got an array list with one item in it. It's not a lot, but let's say I want to iterate over that. Well, I could create an iterator object. So I could pull all the objects in that collection out as an iterator. Iterator is a good name for it. So I say, hey, get that array list called servers, and let's get the iterator out of it. So that gives me the iterator. Now all I have to do is write a while loop. Iterator.hasNext is the method that you use to move on to the next element in the collection. And if I want to get the name of the current server being iterated over, I could just say string server equals iterator.next. Since there's only one, the first time through the loop, that's going to give me the name Tomcat, and then I can just print out the name of the server. Now, when I run this, well, everything works great. It's not that impressive, but Tomcat prints out. But watch this. If during the while loop I say servers.add and add Jetty in, well, all of a sudden I am now going to be manipulating this array list. I'm going to be changing the number of elements in the array. I'm going to be manipulating the data structure while the iterator is working. And if I do that, all hell is going to break loose. The program's going to say, look, you cannot change a collection class while you are working on an iterator, while you are iterating through it. So watch, if I run this application, well, I get the java.util concurrent modification exception because I'm iterating through a collection and I'm modifying it at the same time, or some other thread is modifying it. And so that's how you end up with the concurrent modification exception. You are iterating through a collection, but while you're iterating, somebody actually goes in and changes that collection. So that is the nefarious concurrent modification exception. Now, there is a way around that. And one way around that is to use a collection class that does not fail fast, right? As soon as the JVM detects the fact that you are changing the underlying data, it throws that exception. A fail fast iterator won't do that. At least it appears that it won't do that. So here, let me get a list of my favorite servers, and I'm going to use a special collection class from, I think it's java.util.concurrent package. It's called the copy on write array list. So it's an array list of type strings, just like this is an array list of type strings. It's just a special type. And you can see here in the constructor, I've passed in this data here. So there's the array of strings with all of my favorite servers on them. There is that array of strings being passed into the copy on write array list, which uses a fail-safe iterator. And I'm not going to loop through that. So iterator string iterator equals data list. That's the name of the list, .iterator. We've seen this code before. And then I can say while iterator.hasNext. And let's loop through here. So what do I want to do here? Well, maybe I will get the name of the server and print it out, kind of like I did on the previous one. And you know what? I'm going to comment out the fail fast iterator. and then run this application. And that way I can have the application run and the exception not get thrown. So you can see right here, well, I'm just looping through all of the elements in my list, Tomcat, Undertow, Kubernetes, WebSphere, and JBoss, and it all gets printed out. But watch this. I'm going to actually edit the list during the iterator. So I'm going to say something like this. If server.equals Tomcat, well, what do I want to do? Well, if it equals Tomcat, I'm going to take that data list, I'm going to add the word Jetty to it, because I really like the Eclipse Jetty application server. Okay, so now I've added the word Jetty to this array list, and I've added it as soon as we hit Tomcat. So that'll happen right at the start. So we'll get our copy on write array list. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in it. I will add a 6th, and will this cause a problem? Will it cause an exception? Well, let's run this as a Java application. Boom, it does not cause a problem. However, notice that Jetty never gets printed out. So even though we've added Jetty to this data list here, it actually doesn't get printed out, even though we add it immediately after we loop on Tomcat. Now, the reason for that is that this iterator doesn't actually point to that array list. The iterator actually is a copy of this array list. So when you use a fail-safe iterator, the iterator doesn't actually loop through the underlying collection. It creates a copy of that collection, and it loops through the copy. So if you manipulate the underlying collection, well, it doesn't affect your iterator. It doesn't affect your code. You don't throw an exception, because it's actually not the collection that you're working with in that iterator that's getting modified, right? You have a clone, you have a copy of it. And so that's how you avoid the exception. But as you can see, there's drawbacks here. So all of a sudden, the results may actually be out of sync with the underlying data. So you got to pick your poison. Do you want to make sure that nobody can manipulate the data underneath you while you loop through it? If so, you have it throw an exception. If maybe being out of sync a little bit is bearable, you can use a fail-safe iterator and deal with the fact that from time to time, maybe your results won't be exactly in sync in the underlying data. It's also worth noting that making that copy is going to cause extra resources to be consumed, so you need extra memory for that. And also, if you're allocating a lot of objects and then destroying them after you're done with them, probably going to have a lot of Java garbage collection as well. And Java garbage collection can occupy CPU cycles, and it can cause stop the world events. So it's something we want to avoid as well. So again, pick your poison. Which one do you want? Which one is best? A fail-safe iterator or a fail-fast iterator? Really, that's something you've got to decide on your project.